everybody, my name is Mitchell,
I'm Bill.
and we're here again with Magick City Pagans in Birmingham, Alabama at Books, Beans, and Candles. So just want to go into a couple of things before we get into the topic of sacred herbs and trees today. So what we're going to be talking about. A few events. I know we have on the 27th of April, we have a cool author event.
Yes, Jamie Wagner. She has written a book on Hades, and she will be here doing a Q&A and book signing from 1 to 2 on the 27th of April.
Yeah, she's giving a little lecture, and it's just $35. And then, of course, you have the Q&As, and the book signing. So we'll have those books here for you.
Yes.
So it's really cool, especially when you get a little more about Hades.
Yeah, and she's not from Auburn, but they're currently in the Auburn area, and so kind of a local author. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
On the 27th of February, nope, not sorry. It is, if I can read, it is the 24th of February. There we go.
There you go.
Skaji's Full Contact Tarot. So if you want to sign up for a 6-hour intensive great class of learning how to read tarot.
Absolutely, because he encompasses a little bit of everything from history to
very thorough.
Very thorough. It's a really good class.
Really good class. So that's happening. So you can sign up at the call or come by the shop and sign up for that. We also have, of course, our tea and tarot on the first Friday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So early February, that first Friday, we'll be doing tea and tarot. It's a free event. So we provide tea, and if you don't have cards, we'll provide those for you as well.
Great learning experience. If you want to feel like, hey, I think tarot might be something I want to look into. It's a great learning experience. Get to learn some spreads. Get to practice reading for people, being read for. It's a really awesome learning opportunity.
It was good. And the third Friday, also at 6:30, is Sips and Stars.
Yes.
And that's very similar to tea and tarot, but instead of doing tarot, we're going to do astrology and transitions and different things like that. So we just started it.
Right.
So we had a good number last time. So
awesome.
We'll keep pushing that and hope you guys can come in. It's also a free event.
Really cool.
Yeah. So, and then we have of course, MCP we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And what else?
Let's see. I believe it is at the end of June. We have,
Christopher Penzak.
Christopher Penzak coming for a 3-day.
Talking about that 3-day. It's going to be 2 separate classes. So Friday has a class, then there's also a 2-day class, Saturday and Sunday. So it's the Christopher Penzak. And you can go to our webpage and see that one. You can actually sign up on the webpage, and it'll give you a little blurbs about what he's going to be teaching, everything. Definitely a class you don't want to miss.
He is an amazing author, really nice guy.
All right, I think that's
kind of current events coming up.
Yeah, pretty sure. All right, so let's talk about some of the sacred woods and herbs. But real quick, I'm just going to go over some of the books that we like to use.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you can actually read that or not, but that is Celtic Tree Mysteries by Steve Barnes. That's a great one. It has a lot of ohm in that one.
Absolutely.
But it goes with the trees with the tree ohm is attached to. Then you have here. This is going to be by Kareem Boyer, and this is the Under the Witching Tree, and by Kareem Boyer, Under the Bramble Arch. So you see that, and they are paperbacks as well, so you don't have to go for the hardbacks. But a lot of great information about the trees and things in here.
Absolutely.
So let's just start off. I think you got a list, don't you, Bill?
I do. Handy dandy technology here.
Bring the bag up.
Yeah, where'd my list go? I had that list of trees. Oh, I know where to.
All right.
Here we go.
Here we go. Got it? All right.
Yes. So, Mitchell and I were talking earlier. It's like, right before we started, it's like, a lot of us, especially folks around our age, got a lot of our initial magical training from the from the European into the Celtic and British Isles. That's where a lot of our initial information came from. So a lot of the trees and things that are sacred there may or not be necessarily available to us here in southeastern United States. But the lore and the knowledge, and we do have a lot of these, but some of them. So we got the yew tree.
Right. Yeah.
We have the willow. I love willow. The oak. Elder.
Yep.
Cedar. Though, one of the things I love about the willow tree is that, generally where you saw a willow, you would find water.
No, absolutely. And in Ireland,
Very much connected to your to the wells and to the rivers.
well, not just the wells, but attached to a certain type of well.
Yes.
And that's bridges.
Hmm.
You'll always, generally, I don't say always, but there are a lot of the her sacred wells in Ireland. There's always a willow tree there. And on the one in Kildare, you'll actually find it's a really big willow tree and lots of like shoes from infants hanging on it because if your child had passed or a young child had died, they would actually tie something of that child onto the willow tree.
That was like fun.
Yeah. So, but yes, willows are always good because they're always in the water, but as well they leaf out really quick.
Hmm.
So it give you a good indication if you see willow tree, there's water somewhere.
Right, somewhere nearby.
Somewhere nearby.
Especially in a time when not that may not seem so important to us now, but when you look back 300-400 years ago, knowing that there was water for not only just yourself but for your livestock and your horses, your cattle, your sheep, that was important information you needed, and they placed a lot of stock in things like that, as well as wells were seen as a doorway to the other world.
And willows were always like a gateway.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they would leaf out because they were always there. So the willow tree is also very much a renewal.
And it has that, especially like the weeping willow, it has that resemblance of someone with long hair and with the swaying in the wind and things like that.
Another one that's common, dogwood.
Yes.
That's here and in Europe and for the Middle East as well. So you got dogwood. Elder, let's jump on that one real quick. Because, elder, which generally holds a very
very special place.
Is because why you never cut an elder is because it held the witch's spirit.
Right.
Or witch would come back. So you never cut an elder. If you did, you need to ask permission or you had to find a branch that was down. So you never technically were supposed to cut elder. And of course, rowan, which is a very popular one, you see a lot of people take their name.
Mm-hmm.
Is a very protective. So rowan is an extremely protective tree.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like going to make a wand of rowan or a staff, you had already that imbued protection aspect to it.
And not just the protection is like health wise, but physical protection
and energetic. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot in that.
Another one that I like the correspondence between is blackthorn.
Oh, and yeah.
Okay. And here we don't have blackthorn. Blackthorn does not grow here.
Doesn't like us.
It doesn't like us. But what we have here is hawthorn, which is whitethorn. And the briars on them are, they're 2-3 inches long. And these were things that were planted along hedges, and these were planted on the property boundaries because
it was your early barbed wire.
Yes, it was your natural barbed wire fence because I don't know if you've ever been stuck by one of them, but it hurts.
Yeah.
And they are hardy. They are hardy, very solid woods. So you look at something like the oak tree.
Absolutely.
The oak tree has, from its inception as an acorn, has sovereignty, plentifulness, birth.
Yeah.
And up through the it growing and maturing, and you hear about the mighty oak being able to being strong but able to bend. And you have the oak king and the holly king.
Right.
So we as pagans tie a lot of our mythos, a lot of our structure into these trees.
Oh, absolutely.
And have for countless centuries.
Like cedar's great for cleansing.
Cedar's great not only for just the if you're using it for a wand for doing cleansing work, but for burning it. It's great. The green cedar, just a little bit green or wet.
Not to mention, how many times was your foot locker or something like that was made out of cedar?
Oh, absolutely.
Moths don't like it.
Absolutely. The old shoe trees, especially you can still get them now. Those shoe trees you put in.
Which is why it's also a protective plant, because it actually does protect, obviously, from insects and things like that. So.
And insects cause rot cause disease, and you got to think, our mindset, we have a base knowledge of medicine and how things work. When those things haven't been discovered yet, you see rot. Oh, that's disease. That's infection. Right. And there wasn't any, so it protected from it. So there you go.
So it has natural, and it does. moths, things like that, don't like it. So it definitely protect your clothes.
Oh yeah. Um,
What you got there?
I got so one of my favorites is sweet gum.
Oh yeah, little
When
witches balls.
when you step on those things, you know it. You know it. They fall on your head. You know it. We're talking about the little spiky balls that you'll find in your yard
Yeah.
in the South. What's really interesting is that is the American version of the amber tree in England. It is actually referred to it as like the American striax, whereas you get the black striax
Right.
from the amber tree in England.
Right.
You get the white, you get striax. It's the white
Okay.
striax, and so there's that correlation. We have hawthorn, they have blackthorn, we have sweet gum trees, they have the amber trees.
Something very similar. Yeah.
Very similar. I mean, there's tons of correlation. Can they be used in the exact same way? To me, I believe that's the intent that you put in it.
Yeah, and a lot of them you can. So
Yeah,
do the same
absolutely.
thing, because obviously, certain things don't grow here, and certain things don't grow there. So
Yeah.
But yeah, like the sweet gum, balls, often called witches balls, not to confuse with the other witches balls.
Because they're you step on them, they hurt. They are it's a little ball of protection.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. You hang them up around your home for protection.
Absolutely, absolutely. So another one that I like, but it is unbelievably not a good thing to touch, is oleander.
Yeah.
Which grows wonderfully in Florida.
Yeah, it definitely likes warm heat. We actually have some here at the shop that actually made it survive through that last cold snap last year we had. It took a beating, but it survived.
It's a hardy individual tree.
Beautiful flowers.
So pretty. The sticks are so straight.
The branches extremely toxic.
Yeah, there are countless people who have made the mistake of getting a oleander branch, cleaning off the leaves, and using it to skewer their hot dogs or their marshmallows, and then the whole family is sick and almost dying. It is very toxic. The leaves, the branches,
everything about that.
Everything about that.
Yeah, that one, the three, obviously depends on the conditions and what's grown, but average 3 leaves can kill a grown man.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't play with that one. No.
Pretty.
It's beautiful, but
one that I recommend that you play around a little too much with.
No, and something that I really like is pine.
Yeah, of course now pine needles are a big thing.
Pine, and not only
health,
pine needles,
your immune
but
system,
pine cones.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you can use the pine needles for tea. You can use the sap. I mean, back in the day, people would take pine sap and they would tap it, and they would get a little bottle of pine sap, roll it in some sugar, and then use that as gum. Yeah. I mean,
pine trees are extremely beneficial. I mean, if a Donner Party had realized that they could have taken the tree pine bark and boiled it, they could have had soup that would sustain them and not been the whole cannibal thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it was so it was all around them. They just didn't have knowledge of it.
And it pretty much grows throughout the country.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one that you can find a variety.
Like we have southern pine here.
Mm-hmm. But you can get there's all sorts of pines. I was fascinated when we went to Savannah about the difference in the pine trees in Savannah versus here, and especially in some of the cemeteries, these pines were just amazing, and the way the branches were, and I'm like, okay, I know it's a pine tree, but that does not look like a pine tree. But does it have its magical purpose? Absolutely. The pine cone itself, is a fertility thing.
Yes.
It's got that hardy shell, protective, but then it opens up. You can even make tea from the pine cone.
Yeah, no, I'm saying absolutely. It's great, and often even we use them for decorations. We dip them in cinnamon and stuff like that for the scent during the holidays. So pine can be used for a lot of different things. And if in paraffin, you have an incredible fire starter.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And boiling the needles, you can use that as an astringent. It works great for making a tea out of a little pine needle and nettle.
Yeah.
When you think about it, when you think something about pine, you think like cleaner. Yeah, it's for cleansing.
Absolutely.
Literally, figuratively, metaphysically, and literally. So another one I got, maple.
Good syrup.
Not only is it good for syrup, which is absolutely wonderful, but just it's one of those woods where it's not a hardwood, and it's not a softwood. It's sort of that in between. It's kind of like the ash, where it's got the or poplar. it's got the physical characteristics of being a softwood, but it burns good and hot like
Right.
like a hardwood. But you know, the maple tree, you got the maple leaf, you have the sap, so that's life giving. You know, that's and you have the just
I don't know too much about maple. I've never really actually looked into that one. I do a lot of looking at oaks and
right oaks and cedars.
yeah, and cedars. And you have
Right.
your sovereignty and your your strength and protection from those
Right.
guys.
But you have that sustenance availability from the maple tree by tapping it. When it runs, it's almost like it's giving you its blood.
Yeah.
Very. I wouldn't say so much sovereignty with the maple tree, but I would say more of family.
Yeah.
And definitely that. I think it's almost like a mother, divine feminine energy, because it's giving of itself to help you.
Makes sense. Let's go there.
Let's see. And I'm out of trees.
Okay, let's do a
But
few herbs.
I got some herbs.
Well, we only got time for a few.
Oh,
So
cool.
We're running out of time.
Running out of time. So, some of the herbs that were sacred to the Druids obviously was chamomile.
Chamomile was
Mugwort.
mugwort, thistle,
No.
nettle.
Fennel. And for a lot of these things, there's it's.
A lot was because you're making beer from it.
You were making something to drink from it, or you were making something for tea to either soothe your throat, make you feel better, or just improve your overall mood.
A lot of times, if you had a wine or something like that, it was used for anointing and used for blessing. So, of course, a lot of that beer and wine were all considered sacred anyway.
Right. And then you had things like, you were primrose, vervain. You had your clove, clover.
Vetiver, which is great for protection. Vervain's good for protection. So, a lot of these herbs had their sacredness because really all plants and herbs are sacred.
They are, and the thing is one thing I like about herbs is one of those things where there's a lot of regional substitution availability.
Right. It depends where you are.
It depends on where you are, and a lot of the stuff that I'm quite sure that if the Druids of Western Europe and the British Isles were able to have had things like oleander, and they had things.
Well, they would have used it.
They would have used whatever they had,
just like we did.
Absolutely.
Right, so I believe you got another version of Ogham, because we know of Celtic tree Ogham, and there's bird Ogham, and there's a lot of different types of Oghams.
Yeah.
But this one's actually particular to this region.
So when I was doing some research on this, I had seen this a couple years ago from having taken the classes, the witchcraft classes here. It's called the Allegheny Mountain Ogham. So what it is basically you have the traditional Druidic Ogham of trees from the Celtic regions, and these is take those concepts and apply it to the trees that we have in the Appalachian Mountains, and it's called the Allegheny Mountain Ogham. And there are several that are similar because they grow in both. But some of the interesting ones that I thought, now the Ogham also uses things like vines. So a couple of them that I thought were really interesting was the hazel.
Yeah.
Cattail, which there is, cattail, and cherry tree.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and whereas we talked about the pines, we have listed here, the white pine. Appalachian Mountains have the white pines. So you go out to, out in California, you're going to find different pines.
Absolutely.
Up north, you're going to have more.
So this is the Appalachian Mountain area.
Yes, I was looking for things that were kind of local to our area.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's pretty much wraps up.
Yeah.
We got to keep it short.
Yeah.
Because we want to go on, for 30 minutes here.
We can talk forever.
Ever, yeah, I know. So just, a couple of good books that if you're interested in learning the Sacred Woods by Kareem Boyer, we have Under the Bramble Arch and Under the Witching Tree. I was trying to say willow. The Witching Tree. Sorry. And so it's like, stick on that willow. So, so those are some great books. And of course, if you're interested in Ogham, then there's the Celtic Tree Mysteries by Steve Larries. But there's also many different Ogham ones that you can get.
Right.
So that's pretty prevalent out there now. So information. So just a recap about Tea and Tarot, the first Saturday, Sips and Stars, the third Friday, the 24th, Full Contact Tarot Escaji, and the 27th of April
with Jamie Wagner.
Hades.
Yes,
Hades. A little lecture there. And of course, then in June, we'll have Christopher here.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I enjoyed having you, and hope to see you guys next time. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.